back there. Obviously, the stick taps at the beginning of practice said a lot.
Yeah, for me as a coach, obviously the other part of it's not my part of the job, and I'm glad it's done and that he can get in here and get some games in and kind of get up to speed. And so I'm glad it's done.
Yeah, because no matter how players and coaches and management and everybody else insulates it, it is a bit of a distraction. So to have that out of the way early, I guess, would be certainly pleasing to you as well.
Yeah, and we've talked about having getting some different looks when it comes to lines, using some different people. And now that he's here, I get to do that. It was harder to do maybe when he wasn't. So it takes a lot of the sort of questions about it. It just takes that out of the equation and just move forward.
To have one more tool in the toolkit, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top 6 forward. When you don't have that, you certainly, those guys are, you need them on your hockey team, and he's here, and I'm sure he's pretty excited now to be back with the guys and get going.
What's your first impression of the pace that he's at so far?
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch in that practice. That was specifically designed. Power play, penalty kill, but he's been skating the whole time he's been out, so he's been here skating, not here, but he's been skating, so it wasn't that long of a period, going back to the 18th, I think it was the last time he was with the guys, or 17th, so yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, I'm not going to play him tomorrow, we talked about it, so he'll be in Friday and mini.
Scott, what do you envision Cole's role starting the season at after he started at center last year? Do you think you're going to put him in that position?
I don't think so right now, but we, like I've said earlier in the week there, we got to see where we are when we get to that opening game, who we have for numbers, if there's any injuries or anything like that. But I've got some other ideas that I want to do, that I want to try a little bit, and but he'll be in that second line spots for sure.
He expressed encouragement when he heard of your comments about him, like in the off season. I'm just wondering what kind of conversations you've had with him about expectations, role, all those.
Yeah, we've talked a few times over the summer. He's called me a couple of times with the questions, and it was just more building off of last year. I mean, his 3-year with the Winnipeg Jets, first 2 were injury years, and he didn't get to finish the second half each time. And last year he put together, a real good, solid season, and he's got to back that up again. And now we can be consistent and do that on a nightly basis. I think he recognized how he needs to play. He knows now that he's facing the other team's top defensemen, the other team's top forwards. He has to, whether it's with the puck or without, he has to, do things at a quick level, at a high level, and he has the hockey smarts to do that. And he's excited about where he's getting to.
Scott, sorry, in terms of the switch to wing more so, like last year, Rick talked a lot about wanting to try him there. But why do you think it's better for him to be, whether your roster configuration or whatnot, for him to be on the wing at this point?
You know what? It has a little bit more to do probably without the puck coming down our end of the rink. Being, the hardest part for a centerman in the NHL is that you have to go from your defensive corner. You're in the battle 90% of the time. You're the low forward, and you got to get up out of the hole, and you got to get in the rush and get to the other end of the rink on the offense. And you know what, he showed last year playing on the wing that I thought he was real good. He can play both left and right side. He's got real good. He was actually good on the walls. It kind of got the puck in his hands a lot because he wasn't coming out of the hole from the corners. He was actually getting the puck either first or second touch. And then now he's going through the blue line to blue line, being able to make plays that way. So that's more of what I was kind of thinking on it.
Scott, why was it important to spend, practice day mainly focusing on special teams kind of this early in camp? Is it just reflective of the importance of that particular play?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it that it has to be our specialty teams have to get better, and if you don't work at them, you don't go through them, you're not going to make any gains. And the biggest thing right now is we have numbers. So it allows you to have a lot of bodies, and you can keep the pace of we had 3 power play units, so it allowed us to have a really good pace during the power play. We're going to do this again in another week when we have, the numbers will be reduced maybe a little bit, but at the same time, Davis and Dean, it's the first time they're really kind of getting their message out. We just did game day meetings with the group that was playing the first 2 games. So today was the first for Perfetti, Scheifele, Lowry, all these guys, to kind of get kind of more about what Davis and Dean are thinking. They've actually met them prior to camp even start, and they've showed them, they've met and shown some things. But it's their verbiage is different, kind of how they kind of approach different things. Maybe some, the systematic stuff is a little bit different. So today was an actual great way of the power play going first for a half an hour, walk through it, talk it out, teach. Then obviously go through it live, and then the power play getting, their opportunity to go out, same thing. Walk through it, teach, get live reps, and that's kind of really what I was after today.
Clearly a different system than the one that you played last year. How difficult do you anticipate it to be for the players to pick up, or how much time do you allot for kind of the change that needs to happen?
Most players have, we're not reinventing the wheel. They've played it somewhere or sort of a look of it. There's more things that it's not so much where the positioning of, whether it's our power play or whether it's our penalty kill. It's the stick detail. It's the attack the net mentality. It's our returns, our penalty killers, how fast they work to get back. It's more of that stuff. It isn't so much about positioning where you're standing, where you're going. It really is about some of the little detail stuff that we're really trying to hammer home so that those 4 guys on the penalty killer are on the same page, and then vice versa, our power play, our 5 guys. They know when a certain look happens that I need to be here. I need to get to this point. I need to, be an outlet on this in this situation. So it's kind of that'll be sort of what's taught now from the games. Tomorrow night's game, we'll take video and we'll put that in there and showing them the examples of when they're doing the right things that we've been coaching here.
Should we read too much into?
Yeah, way too much. We read into
that, or are they? I mean, what's the purpose of having Kyle and Mark and those guys killing the penalties during those?
Because they're going to kill.
They are.
Yeah, they are. The biggest thing is we don't have we last year situation Lau had to go out and take almost all the face-offs, and I mean Monty as well, but we didn't have a right side. Scheifele is a good face-off guy, and if he's somebody that we can take advantage, all we found last year is that everybody, because the power play gets to choose the side that they're on, they kept going to our right side all the time. So this helps. I think that we talked about being a little bit more aggressive on our kill. Casey's done it before, but more than anything, Scheif has hockey instincts. He's got, he has done it before, and he's actually he's looking forward to the responsibility. So if he comes over the board first, or if he comes back in maybe the second or third rotation, I just want to get these guys reps. I want them to get the chances in the exhibition games and see how they do.
Scott, did you or Dean approach Kyle and Mark about killing, or did they express an interest in it?
I talked to them. I've talked to them in the summer, or I've talked to them. I don't know when. I've talked to all these guys numerous times, but they all knew it was coming. You know what? And I'm actually not out of fly not doing it either. I've actually talked to him. He's another guy that we might sprinkle in there just because of the quickness. And, the one thing about top end sort of skill guys, they have great instincts of where the next play is going, and they have a tendency to jump those plays. And we'll see. Like I said, we got Fetz back now. I'm just trying to balance out sort of the lineup first, and then we'll go from there. I do still have, our bottom 6 guys. We've got a pile there fighting for jobs, so I got to make sure that I get those guys in roles that they can show me what they can do before we get to that first game against Edmonton.
Speaking of Nick,
Sorry, what makes his skill set good for the high slot? I know there'll be interchanges, but for Ehlers on the first power.
It's amazing, but you go. I ran a power play in New York. I've been to ton of seminars. The most important player on a power play is your bumper. And you go look at Reinhardt, you go look at Aho, Oshie. You just look at power plays that have success. But you got to work. You got to go side to side. He has quickness to get there. He also has a quick release. He's got that's another. If you have a big long stick, sometimes it's hard. If you have to have it in one perfect spot, it's hard. But a lot of the middle bumper guys, they do a lot of the work. They get, and he has a quickness to get there, and so we just want to see. I want to see what it looks like. He's going to try. He's going to be in there tomorrow, and then we'll see. Fetz is going to go in there. Al will go in there. I will just kind of play it all out and talk to Davis here, what he likes, what he sees. It's great because he's coming in fresh and he doesn't really have he's obviously saw video, but there's some ideas that he wants to try as well, and we'll have 4 more games here to kind of do that.
Note on the PK, once upon a time, this is years ago, Shifley and Wheeler played together on the PK here, and they knocked a lot of pucks down in the middle of the ice and actually went up out on offense. Is maybe using some of the Connor Shifleys and maybe even Ehlers of the world an opportunity to claw some goals back that way?
Yeah. It certainly gets power plays on their heels when those guys start to pick pucks off, and there's some really good top 6 forwards in the league that are great penalty killers and that make it hard on the opposition. So, those two specifically they're excited. They, it's something that exactly that they might create offense off. I'm hoping they defend first, but at the end of the day, they have hockey instincts, knocking pucks out of the air, one step ahead on the pass maybe, and picking a pass off that way. So, we're going to take a look at it, give them some real good opportunities to do that, and then we'll see where we are for the opener against Edmonton.
Scott, just one on the 12 cuts. A bunch of kids obviously go back to junior. Guys got in a game. Any parting words that you give to some of those kids when they're on their way out? Yeah,
you know what? For me, it was I asked them all. They all got in games and just asked them what they thought. It was amazing how every one of them said, "Oh, faster, bigger, and stronger." And that's all I said to them was, "Well, that's the progression. As you come here for the first time, a few of them, I see, and I mentioned that there's a lot of guys here that are, first, second, third year pros that weren't too long ago in your shoes, and they got experience and they learn from it. And then it's about making sure that they don't waste a year, that they go back to junior, they go back down to the Moose. Don't waste a year, that you go back and work on things you need to work on. We have lots of people that are going to help them with things that in that area of what they need to do to improve. And, we got the couple of kids there, big center, Walton's a big kid. Julian's a big kid. We got some big guys that I think that, they have great skill set and will now help them to become an all-around player, maybe power forward kind of guys, and just different examples like that kind of talk.